The afternoon sun cast a golden hue across the quiet streets of a small town tucked between the hills. Birds fluttered near empty cafes, and the wind carried the soft scent of freshly brewed coffee. Everything seemed normal, peaceful, almost too peaceful. No one knew that today would become a moment etched forever in the hearts of everyone who witnessed it. A small boy wheeled himself slowly down the sidewalk. His hands were steady on the rims of his blue wheelchair. His eyes, though young, carried a tiredness that most children didn't know. Behind him walked a German shepherd, large, powerful, graceful. Not just a pet. Not just a companion. This was Thor. And if you looked closely into his eyes, you could see something more, something trained, disciplined, and silent. A protector with a story all his own. The boy was Leo. 7 years old. Paralyzed from the waist down. A victim of a car crash that took his father, Officer Daniel Hayes, a decorated canine handler with the city police department. The man had served for over a decade. He and Thor had taken down drug rings, saved lives, and been inseparable until that rainy night when the truck came out of nowhere. Daniel didn't survive. But Thor did. And now, he watched over Daniel's son. Before we dive deeper into this unforgettable journey of pain, resilience, and the unshakable bond between a wounded boy and his silent guardian, please take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Positive Tales if you believe in second chances, kindness, or the incredible loyalty of animals. Leo's mother, Emily, watched from a distance that day. She stood behind the cafe window, sipping coffee with a cautious eye. Her son had begged her to let him try going to the cafe on his own. Just once. Just to prove he could. She agreed on one condition, that Thor would be right beside him. Thor never left his side anyway. Since the accident, they had become two halves of one soul. Leo reached the cafe patio, struggling slightly as his wheelchair bumped against a cobblestone crack. Thor gently nudged his leg, helping keep the balance, alert as always. Leo laughed, reaching into his backpack and pulling out a balloon. It was his victory balloon. One full trip around the block by himself. Just as he tied it to the back of his chair, the piece shattered. A rumble. Loud. Aggressive. Several motorcycles rolled in from the main road, engines growling like a pack of wolves. Heads turned. Conversations stopped. A group of bikers pulled up, leather vests, tattoos, dark sunglasses. The town had seen them before. Most knew they were just a group of veterans, bikers with stories and scars. They were generally respectful. But today, one among them was not like the others. His name was Tank. He had a reputation, quick temper, loud mouth, a chip on his shoulder the size of a mountain. He was new to the group. And he hadn't yet learned what respect meant. He jumped off his bike, looked around, and spotted something or someone that gave him that cruel itch to mock, to dominate, to assert his false power. A small boy. In a wheelchair. With a big dog. He swaggered over. Leo didn't see the threat at first. He just smiled, like any child does when someone approaches. But Thor saw it. He stood up, positioning himself between Leo and the stranger. Tank chuckled. "What's this? You having a parade or something, kid?" he mocked. Leo's face fell slightly. But he didn't answer. Tank didn't like being ignored. So he stepped forward, trying to look bigger, tougher. Thor growled softly, not a threat, just a warning. Tank didn't listen. With a sneer, he raised his boot and kicked Thor hard in the ribs. The moment froze. Thor stumbled, yelped once, but something ancient and powerful awoke within him. The instincts of a warrior. The memory of training. Of commands. Of protecting the helpless. Thor didn't bite. He didn't maim. He leapt, controlled, calculated, and slammed Tank to the ground in one swift move. His jaws clamped down on the man's wrist, holding him firm, not piercing skin but sending a message. Don't move. Don't threaten. You've crossed a line. People gasped. Emily screamed and bolted from the cafe. The other bikers rushed over. But none touched Thor. Because one of them, Ghost, recognized the dog. "Wait! Wait!" he shouted. He looked closer. "That's Thor. Officer Hayes' dog." A silence fell. Ghost knelt beside Leo. "Is this your dog?" Leo nodded. "He was my dad's." Tears filled Ghost's eyes. "Your dad was a hero." The rest of the bikers now realized what had happened. Tank had assaulted not just a dog, but a decorated canine. A soldier. A survivor. And worse, he had attacked the protector of a boy who had already lost too much. Emily reached her son, dropping to her knees, arms wrapped around him. She looked at Ghost. This was his partner. "He saved my husband's life more times than I can count. Now he saves my son's." Ghost stood up, walked to Tank, still on the ground, humiliated and powerless, and said something no one heard. But the look on Tank's face told everyone what was said. Shame. Regret. Realization. The group left in silence, dragging Tank with them. But that wasn't the end of the story. Over the following weeks, something incredible happened. The bikers came back without Tank. They began visiting the cafe regularly. One afternoon, they showed up with wood, tools, and a blueprint. They built a ramp for Leo's home, fixed the broken fencing, and even surprised him with an off-road wheelchair. But the greatest gift came one evening when Ghost handed Leo a small, custom-made leather vest, matching their own. It had one word stitched in white, honor. And it was for Thor. Leo's confidence began to grow. With Thor by his side, he dared to speak to more people, to go further on his outings. He became a symbol in the town. Not of tragedy, but of strength. Of what can happen when you're surrounded by love, loyalty, and the silent courage of an animal that sees your pain and chooses to stay anyway. The story of Leo and Thor spread far beyond that small town. Local news covered it. Veterans groups reached out. And somewhere in the quiet moments, Emily felt her husband's spirit still lived, not just in memories, but in every breath Thor took beside their son. And Leo? He never stopped pushing forward, literally and figuratively. Every street he rolled down was a street reclaimed. Every time Thor helped him over a bump or nudged his hand, it was a reminder, you are not alone. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Positive Tales, and share it with someone who needs to remember the power of love, loyalty, and unexpected heroes. Special request. Please comment below with if you believe animals aren't just companions, they're protectors, healers, and silent angels sent to walk beside us in our darkest times.